Officer Washburn is having a bad day. Officer Washburn.
That's funny.
Is having a bad month.
3 cars you totaled. That is 11 points on your license.
Don't take my license, please.
It's gone.
Attention all units. Proceed to Manhattan Savings and Loan. We have a 10:30 armed robbery in progress. Suspects armed and dangerous.
Freeze! Police officer! I'm gonna need a car!
But luckily for Officer Washburn, he lives in New York City.
36 and Broadway. Step on it.
You jumped in the right cab today. I don't usually stop for white guys. My way of balancing the universe. Buckle up for safety, mother.
You took a cab to a bank robbery?
Don't worry about speed limits, red lights, nothing.
I'm still running this meter.
Keep driving. Keep driving.
Who is gonna pay that?
This is a badge, okay? That means you're not allowed to scream at me. No.
Give me this thing. Ah!
Stop. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Sorry, I can't hear you. Somebody keeps screaming like a little girl. You okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm recording now.
Thanks. Appreciate you telling me that.
You ever do this shit? I know that you had a great time watching. The best time ever?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Cleve.
This is Michael.
And welcome back to episode 5 of Podcast and Crime.
I'm gonna make hand gestures to the screen anyway. It doesn't matter. I
That's
can't
fine.
turn it off, guys.
I'll keep that on here. Make sure to leave a like. Michael's hand gestures that you'll never see.
That's
Maybe I'll put it at the
baby.
end. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, this is episode number 5.
Today, we review the buddy cop that I feel like, have you ever wanted to watch Living Single and thought to yourself, like, I wish there was a quirky white guy there, but like you had already watched Bringing Down the House?
I don't. It's a masterpiece, so I don't know why you're starting off like this.
I think you know why. Today we watched Taxi.
Not Taxi Driver, not Taxi the show from the 70s. Taxi with Jimmy Fallon and Queen Latifah.
And the Queen Latifah.
Who's coming to Cleve's wedding, by the way?
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. So, before we even get to anything that happened in the movie, could you for a moment buy Fallon as a cop?
No. And like, honestly, it was all one giant horrible, like compilation of SNL skits.
Here's my thing. I think out of all the buddy cops that we've watched so far, and that's 5, he is the most incompetent cop we've ever come across.
That's including Jay Leno, guys.
And he's the cop of the group. Like, usually the cop is the level-headed one, and the side partners, the loosey-goosey all over the place. But he was... I took,
including Mel Gibson, who tried to blow his brains out.
I took a list of all the things he did wrong. But so here's my rebuttal to it, and that's why I asked this question. Did you also buy Andy Samberg as a cop when it first started?
When Brooklyn Nine-Nine started?
Right.
more of a I bought it more than I buy Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, but like on a strong to weak vibe, because when he first started Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I just couldn't see it. But as the show progressed, I was like, okay, yeah, I can get behind. I can mentally accept him being a cop.
For what Brooklyn Nine-Nine was, I don't think I ever doubted him, considering we had Scully and the other one. I don't remember.
But there's cops like that just sit at a desk and don't want to do anything.
And I would tell you that there's cops out there that act like children.
Fair. And then there's some that drop their gun every 5 minutes.
Some that, while someone's driving, essentially assault them with their assault them.
Nailed it.
Like in a capacity in which, look, I understand you're not a good driver. You need your face to be able to see, and you're rubbing your face up against someone's ass. Put his foot up. At that point, you just don't worry about the gun. The gun's not going to help you, sir. And then it didn't, by the way.
Right.
Spoiler
alert. This movie had Jimmy Fallon, Queen Latifah, the bad guys. I was going to say villains. Too many comic books. The bad guys were a group of models. One was Giselle Bundchen.
Tom Brady's wife. And I have a theory here. What?
This movie came out in 2004.
Yeah.
They got married in 2009. So he either
knew this happened or just
was like a fan of Taxi and was like, I need this woman in my life. Or found a way to love her.
Yeah, right. Absolutely 1000%. Here's the thing also, is she Brazilian? I didn't think she was.
She is. She's Brazilian.
Okay.
You can just make the robbers wherever the actress is from. It doesn't even matter. They could have been from anywhere. So I brought up the robbers because I want to tell you the rest of their names in the movie.
Yeah.
This is what they're credited as. I don't know if you looked it up.
Never.
Giselle's Vanessa.
Okay.
Anna Cristina del Oliveira is redhead. Fair. There's only one of them that's a redhead. Ingrid Van de Bosch is third robber. And Magali Amade is fourth robber. So they we cared so little about this fucking storyline. We couldn't bother to give them a name. It could have been their name. Giselle could have been like, hey, Lucy, and that done. Lucy's got a name now. Yep. But we said, no, don't even worry about it. Even if they never once said the name, in my head, until you just told me this fact, they had names. I just didn't know them. Nope. They couldn't even be. Oh, third robber, fourth robber. I hate. Who wrote this? Third robber also is. Actually, I'm so glad this came up because I have a great point that I noticed. Jeff Gordon's wife. Like the racer Jeff Gordon? Yes. Weirdly, grew up hating Jeff Gordon because for whatever reason, one relative I had was really into NASCAR racing and really loved Dale Earnhardt and was convinced that Dale Earnhardt was killed, like an assassination job done by Jeff Gordon, because Jeff Gordon's the one that caused the accident. And Jeff Gordon's super torn up about it, but we were raised to think that Jeff Gordon was the devil, to the point where we had a NASCAR game for the PS2. And if he was in that race, we turned our car around and took him out. Okay. Because that's what you do in NASCAR games. Anyways, that's what you do in Demolition Derby games. You're right. NASCAR, you just turn left. I'm so glad you brought up this credits thing, and I then angrily said who wrote this, because during the beginning credit, it definitely says based on the movie written by this person. What movie was this based on? So, this is... I fell into a hole, man. So this is based on a French movie called Taxi from 1998. This is a franchise. There's a Taxi 4 that came out in 2007. So do with that what you will. Is it but it's successful then, right? It just... Well, I mean, as I've not seen it, but for example, they keep making Die Hards, and Fast and the Furious is at 9. So, are those? Do you consider those successful? Yeah. Okay. I mean, then, it's successful. Yeah. I also wrote down there were 4 black people in this movie, and 2 of them were actual characters. One, well, and then 2 were nurses at the end.
False. One more.
Who?
One of the bike people. Because when they're looking for,
There is one bike guy in there. You're right.
Because when they're looking for where the BMW went, they real quick to him, and he's like, "I see him, but I'm gonna lose him," and then they're gone.
So we've not even. What's so great about this is we've not even dug into the movie, and that's how all over the place this shit is. So we open with someone super parkour biking through New York, and we're expected to believe it's Queen Latifah.
It's Premium Rush the whole time, baby. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It was just a different movie.
Also, who's to say that she actually went where she even went? I could have just sat around the corner and waited, and then like backed back through. Like, time. Oh, a new record. That's me.
You know what? For someone also that is so conscientious of time, for you to be 10 minutes late, no, not even 10 minutes late, like you're 10 minutes over the time you were already supposed to be at a building.
Yeah, she's terrible with it, but she's a good driver. And so, her taxi has Men in Black technology.
Yo, so I know it's 2004. I think 2004.
Yes, 2004 is when this.
I know this, but here's my thing. They caught on later. But like, I just need you to like do a quick change, like drive behind. Like, I needed her to be like, buckle up, and then it comes out from away from her, and you see the Crown Vic drive by behind a bus, and then it comes out on the other side, the Ford Mustang that it ended up being. You
need to see it all.
Every time they pushed a button in that fucking taxi and something changed, it genuinely hurt everything inside of me. I might as well have been watching Midnight Club, the fucking on the PS2. It was awful.
The car jacked itself up. There was a lot going on. It's like fucking Speed Racer's car.
Yeah, it changed out the hubcaps.
It did.
Cleve, what did fucking changing out the hubcaps have anything to do with how fast that fucker was going?
They used vibranium.
Also, it said at one point in time, the lieutenant said there was 25 different violations on it. There were only like 6 buttons.
But what was already in the engine probably is what she was referring to.
Also, I don't think a turbocharger is that cheap, and I'm supposed to believe that she just has the. I mean,
just gifted one.
Living next to a racetrack doesn't make you, just because you heard the sound of the engines and can tell me what the engine sounded like, doesn't mean that you suddenly have the prowess of being able to just pull apart a car and put it together.
Her dad was a mechanic, man.
Kind of.
The family trip. What do you mean, kind of?
I mean,
it's not like we got to see him.
We didn't go see his shop.
I assumed that was a handed down shop.
The shop she's living in? That's just a kinky ass bedroom.
Hey, I'm down with that too. So the driving in this is all green screened, right? All of it. So they did almost every shot that you saw of a car or a taxi was stunt people in Los Angeles, and then everything else was shot in New York. So they like pieced together a movie. Which, all right, did you? Oh man, that U-turn that Giselle makes. It was like,
you mean the one that looks like a fucking driver ed fucking GIF?
It looks like
to show you how to make a 3-point
construction paper.
Yeah,
they just twisted.
Judge Judy's got better fucking graphics when she's having you show you what the accident looked like.
It was rough. Okay, so Jimmy Fallon can't drive. We find out later why he can't drive. Apparently his dad was fucking just terrible to him. Made him drive a car going 90 miles an hour when he was 6.
Reminded me of my sister. My sister like swears to this day that she had one incident, and it wasn't even an incident. It was just she had high anxiety when she had got in with a driving instructor, and apparently the driving instructor like was like, "No, you need to do this. Like, we're gonna drive." And she panicked and like does not to this day doesn't have a license, won't get one ever. Like she Jimmy Fallon'd it.
Then you know what? This movie's as real as it ever could be.
Yo, watching him drive was so infuriating. So I don't care if you're the worst driver in the world. 2 things. I hate the trope of slamming on the gas and you going in reverse and just blowing through shit. Because the man was like
killing a parrot.
The man was like 200 feet away from the fucking bodega and pushed on the gas. And I'm going to tell you now, every single human being is hardwired with the knowledge that the moment that starts jerking back, you're going to slam on that brake.
Well, not your sister.
I guarantee she would slam on the brake. If you don't know how to drive, your instinct is not to just slam into the accelerator.
maybe they're all standards, and that's why that's why he can't handle it.
Maybe
I'm pressing it. It's the clutch, you jackass.
And then like when he was unparalleled parking, like leaving the parallel parked spot in the Daewoo, and he just kept slamming into like, here's the thing. I felt like I was watching Master of Disguise level of comedy. Do you remember Master of Disguise? Because like Dana Carvey,
it hurt.
Makes me laugh as a child.
But you know what? There was a part where he kept slamming it, and he was like, "That's why we got bumpers. That's why we got bumpers." And just kept. I chuckled for a second at that part, and then was like, "Okay, it's gone on too long." That's the problem, is that the joke could be okay, but it would not. How many times did we go forward and back? It was like 6 times each.
That's why I said they're all just a bunch of giant SNL skits, just crammed together. I told Katie I was going to use this as an example, and she was real sad that I was going to bring her up into this again. But like I told her, I said, I'm going to use the fact that you laughed as much as you did as a reason as to why this was a terrible movie. Because there were scenes where she'd laugh, and I'm like, nobody laughs at this.
Jennifer, too.
What's happening?
There's a scene where she laughed. Well, the scene where he goes to kick the door open and it slams back in his face.
Yep, that was one of them.
So we talk. Go ahead.
Sorry, no.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Bring the passion on. I'll cut anything that doesn't matter.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead, man, because you said it was a gym when we started this.
It was awful. Fucking hated this film. And you know what's crazy? So I sat down, I'm watching it, and so like the scene where she does the bike things happen, the thing where he does the Cuban thing happens, and like the moment that the 4 models come out of the airport, like I got hit by a Mack truck. I was like, fuck, I have seen this movie. I know exactly what's happening.
The models did it for you?
And I hate everything. And like, I looked at Katie and go, oh, well, like, they're the bad guys. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, well, like, whatever the bad guys are going to be in this movie, like, that's them. And she goes, I just assumed they were like some like influencers or something. And I'm like, no.
Why would we bring them into the movie?
They're going to be the bad guys.
What you and I get, and what I think other people don't get sometimes, is why am I being shown this? Why else would I be shown these 4 beautiful women if they weren't manipulating stupid men like us and stealing lots of money? Because they did.
Well, like, and you have the cop that pulls them over and he's like, it could have been them. She didn't even know how to use the trunk. I'm going to tell you right now, if someone told me my trunk's busted, I can't open it, and starts jimmying it without ever once touching the key fob, and then says, here, you can try, and gives him the key fob, that is manipulation. How are you that fucking stupid?
Well, hold on a second, because that cop was already like illegally searching the trunk and shit. Like, you need a warrant. Like, you can't just open.
That's fair.
Like,
accurate.
So
but they were foreign. He didn't care.
He's just a bad cop.
They were foreign. He didn't care.
He's a dirty cop that's all underwear and like
giddy little college bitch.
Yep.
He was like, yep, this is good.
So
it was worse than Super Troopers, like that scene when they pull him over and they're like, I'll fuck you right now. I'm like, oh, okay. Like that, okay.
That's all you can say. Oh, okay. So the movie's about Jimmy Fallon is a cop who cannot drive. He got his license taken away by his lieutenant, who immediately when I saw her, I was like, oh, they used to date because she's pretty. And he takes a taxi to a bank robbery, and shenanigans ensue, and they end up working together to solve the case. We've been recording for about almost 20 minutes, and I just now got out what the actual movie's about.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, because I'm keeping all of it in. So we talked about a little bit of it already. So we didn't like Jimmy. Did Washburn? Did we like Belle? Were you fond of Belle? Queen Latifah?
It was the same role that Queen Latifah's often put in.
So I asked that question myself, because I was like, is Queen Latifah just Queen Latifah? Like, because some people get like Will Smith. Will Smith is just Will Smith.
Yeah, she's definitely like the Will Smith of the female.
She's exactly like Will Smith, because sometimes Will Smith can turn it on. And I looked up her IMDb, and there are parts that she played where she puts in performances, you know?
Same exact year she did Chicago. Stellar fucking performance in Chicago. I think she won an award.
I immediately thought of Set It Off, her first movie. Where they were ironically bank robbers. But yeah, in that movie, she wasn't just the sassy black woman that you the reason I brought up bringing down the house is because that's all that was. Is look at these white guys trying to deal with this black woman. This shit crazy. Patton Oswalt's in it for 5 seconds, but I love him, so I thought that.
You know what? Katie said the same shit. Patton Oswalt's name came across. She goes, "Ooh, I love him," and I'm like, "Does anybody actually love Patton Oswalt, or are we just like there's that funny dorky guy?"
Have you ever watched his stand up?
No, that is fair. I'm not.
His stand up's pretty solid. So there's a scene where they rob the bank in a red BMW, pull over, change a bunch of things about the BMW, and I thought to myself, okay, but it's still a red BMW. And then they pulled off the paint job. It was like saran wrapped in red.
Yeah.
And it was blue underneath.
Cellophane.
And I was like, you know what? Okay. Like I'll drop all questions I had about that. Sure. You can have it.
We only found one BMW in that entire city block, or like city blocks. We stopped them and then let them go.
It was a dirty cop, man. And he saw panties. What are you supposed to do when you see panties, man? You freak out.
You know what? Here's another point. Really, we want to go down this road. This is the dumbest fucking cop on earth. The whole entire movie could have been about this cop. And you know why? Because who the fuck packs like that other than a serial killer? Do you remember what it looked like when she opened up her fucking suitcase?
Just a bunch of underwear thrown in.
It was just underwear thrown about like a 12-year-old said, I'm going to just rummage to this bitch.
You know why? You ever try to fold underwear like that? What do you do with it?
Yeah, fold it. Fold it in on itself again and then roll it, baby.
When it's just strings?
Yeah, you fold it and then roll it.
Okay, I'm gonna have
baby. I got you.
Okay, I'm gonna send a pair to your house.
Yeah,
and
I'll video myself.
Do it yourself on YouTube.
I'll put it on, throw it on the TikTok. People can be like, "What the fuck is happening?
What's this creepy man folding?"
That's exactly what's gonna be said immediately. It's like, why does this creepy man got them underwear? But.
So we finally get to confronting them at a bank because Jimmy Fallon, quote unquote, figured out what was happening. And I put in quotes because Bell put all the pieces together and just didn't say the last 2 words. But they're going to take a hostage. And the sexy lieutenant is like, no, I'll go. And they were like, well, we got to frisk you. And which took the longest overly sexual scene I've seen in a long time. Like, first of all, they were like, oh, I'm gonna frisk you. I was like, oh, okay. It's like, it's gonna be a little sexy scene. Like, I get it. Like, I'm a guy. I get it. I get what's happening here. But like, it went on, and Giselle she got into it. Like, like a lot. Like, way more. I got the point, and then she just kept going.
Drove it home, baby.
She like fully cupped breasts, like,
oh yeah, like her hands on the inner thighs and like went
hands
up.
like in butt cheek. Yeah, I was like,
it went,
okay, Giselle.
Like, here's the thing: it was more detailed,
and
there was more thought put into it than porn.
I think
porn's like, fucking, it'll go together. Don't worry about it. It's good.
I think there was more put into it than a lot of these scenes.
The rest of the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. There was more thought into this than the fucking CGI scenes. That's for sure. We had all our best cinematographers on this bad boy.
We didn't want CGI for this. We wanted to see it. And like the fucking cop's like, oh, you take me? Like, all right, guy, take it easy. I get it.
It's the same cop.
It is.
It's the same dirty cop. The same piece of shit that didn't understand. We keep calling him a dirty cop. He wasn't even a dirty cop. He was just a piece of shit. Wasn't like he was on the take. But then, you know what? In the whole entire film, the person I felt bad for was not Jimmy, who had an alcoholic mother and a piece of shit dad that disappeared. And like, he was just down on his luck and was a terrible cop, B, terrible person, C, who gave him a fucking driver's license. I felt bad for Scalia, whatever the garbage truck driver. Man's just trying to be out here save his poor wife.
Nah, I felt bad for Queen Latifah's boyfriend.
Oh yeah, what a fucking champ.
I don't know,
most understanding person ever.
You didn't watch this show, but he was from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he's so much bigger because it's been time since then. I'm looking at him, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Mind you, when I say he got bigger, he was already pretty big in this movie. He got bigger.
The man was jacked.
But yeah, I was like, I wonder if he regrets anything. So
no regrets, bro. No regrets.
So Team Bell tracks down the robbers and they convince them to meet up because Bell and Washburn got the money, but they've got the sexy lieutenant. And so we got to do a switcheroo. So they rob the bank. They know what these women look like now, but they switch to 2 silver convertibles. Makes no sense to me, but okie dokie. And they decide that they're going to do the switch on the highway. Jimmy Fallon finally does something and has an idea to take an exit. They do the switch on an exit that is not fully built, and the 2 women decide not to stop in their individual cars and jump over a football field's worth of empty air.
Yo, and there's no incline. I looked at it for a minute. I paused it and was like, so there's no incline. There's just, I mean, it is level with like, it is just a straight plank and a straight plank. And you're right, probably 100 yards in between them. And what at best, so they're trying to transfer a person between cars. So you're telling me at best, we're going maybe 70 miles an hour. And that is nuts. I need Mythbusters to do this right now.
I'll give them 90. I'll give them 90 just because they're supposed to be super fast drivers, which is funny to me because it's only been Queen Latifah and Giselle. So now one of these third or fourth robber is now a expert driver in keeping up with those 2.
It was and did Jimmy Fallon really do anything other than stumble the whole time and kept going, I need you to stall? To which our version of stalling was like not even like kind of like swerving, because we could have swerved and been like, oh, I can't grab her. Oh, it's crazy. But like we were holding on to her in the middle of traffic.
Pushed her back out.
Yeah, one time he shoved her because like she's confused, right? So like I would have just like
save me, you terrible cop.
Man, I'm telling you.
Was he a detective in this?
No.
I played detective.
No, what? Yeah, no, he had to have been.
So I just wasn't sure. They never said detective. I never heard it. So the 2 cars jump across, and for some reason, construction built the left, the right, and the middle, and nothing else. I don't know if that's typically how that's done, but that's what we did. And Giselle does the most logical thing I could have thought of doing at the time, which is pulling out a gun and unloading it in the direction of the people who have just fucked me over. Tags Queen Latifah, and Jimmy Fallon goes to show his woman that he now knows how to drive. Not even his woman, because she didn't kiss him at the end, but that he knows how to drive by singing the whole time, which is kind of just his "that's me being funny" thing, right? Because that's funny, I guess.
Jimmy Fallon is not funny.
Yo, how he escaped doing this movie and got the Tonight Show blows my fucking mind. Now seeing where he is and this, I don't understand.
I think there was no other avenue for him to go to that would have been successful, because he's very much talk show campy funny, and that's about it. Someone's got to write all of his jokes, and they all have to be like really well timed and cheesy and hokey.
Remember he had that movie with Drew Barrymore? I think that one might have been good.
What movie did he have with Drew Barrymore?
I don't know. He liked baseball.
Oh, the Boston Red Sox one. It was okay. What was the name of that one? I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I don't really need to know.
I watched it once.
I think I saw some of it.
If you made me watch it again, I imagine it'd be the same sensation that I had while watching this movie, which was, fuck, I've already seen this. Why am I doing this to myself?
This is the Catch the Robbers, and we end with Queen Latifah being in NASCAR, which I knew was going to happen the moment she said, my dream's to be in NASCAR. I immediately was like, okay, well, that happens at the end. And that's 30 minutes in. That's giving a lot of credit, too, because this is only a 90-minute movie, I think. And one of the pit crew guys that's in charge is the bicycle guy. And what qualifications does this man have to be running your pit crew?
Zero, sir. That's the amount. And the whole the reason that she was able to do it is because she saved the bank's money.
Right. And you know what? I can buy that. All the banks were like, we appreciate you. We're going to make you a car, or we'll just put our stickers on your car.
Here's what I would have bought more. Was that she happened to keep an entire door's worth of money and funded her own NASCAR.
Yeah, I could see that too.
I would have believed that more.
I laughed a little bit when she was like, I'm just going to take a couple $1,000 because nobody's talking about fixing my car.
Right.
And
no,
I need the car fixed.
No, Queen Latifah was probably the only saving grace in this. And again, I agree. She's very much Will Smith, and that like sometimes she's just Queen Latifah, but sometimes that's good enough for me. to get me by on a little bit.
When he was like, I have a badge, you can't shout at me, and she took the badge from him, it was like, smacked him in the head with it. Yeah, I think if there's anything to enjoy in this movie, it's her, the not cop.
The not cop, right?
In this movie, we find that Jimmy Fallon can't handle his gun. He can't remember details of a car, which as a police officer, I feel is important. You didn't get a license plate number?
Bro, when he said he couldn't even peg the make or model of the car.
It usually says that on the car, bud.
My mind was fucking blown. Especially when he was like, they were driving an Audi. Like, yes, observation skills should be number one at the top of your list for things you want to do as a cop.
He can't drive. He broke the NOS handle when they were in the office. He talked too much. He let 2 people take his badge from him.
He let somebody take his badge and then melt it.
That was funny. He said garbage day after Bell had connected all the dots onto how they were doing the robbery. He couldn't kick a door in. All he figured out was the car jump at the end. Just the worst version of a cop that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And again, we've watched fucking Collision Course. We've watched Samurai Cop.
But you know what?
Jimmy Fallon is the worst one out of all of them.
They were good cops. Well,
they were.
Samurai Cop. That's a tricky one.
Debatable.
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon, however, on the Tonight Show did joke that he would do a sequel if they took it to space, and it was called Space Taxi.
So he understands how
ridiculous it is. Yeah.
At least there's that.
So,
because again, Tommy Wiseau is still out there telling you that The Room is the best fucking thing ever. So
let me tell you when the movie cut me deep. All right. So we talked a little about his car, the Daewoo, right?
I hate that we shit on Daewoos all the time, by the way. This is like a common thing that we do. Leave the Daewoo out of this.
Well, let's be fair. The Daewoo is a Korean company that makes refrigerators, VCRs, TVs, and somehow cars.
Look. Daewoo is a workhorse.
The movie Taxi has a 2001 Daewoo Lanos S T100, and they're like, I don't want to touch this fucking car. Ew, it's gross. First of all, it's a terrible color. I don't even know why you would ever buy that color, but I guess his mom did, and that makes more sense.
That was the color that I imagine Shrek's dick is.
Shrek's green.
Oh shit, was it not green?
It was yellow.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, are we gonna go check?
Yeah.
Bro, you're still gonna see green.
That's fair. Shit, that's fair. You got me, dog. Damn it. Seriously?
Where
I hate being colorblind, guys.
Where I feel like the movie cut where it didn't need to is that I at one time owned a 2001 Daewoo Lanos S. I hated the car, but it was my car, so I rocked as much as I could. Mine would, thank God, would look better color-wise. It was black with like a black and red interior, but I saw that was the vehicle that we decided to sit on, and I was like, well, fuck me.
I think that was the one moment I laughed, was when they were all sitting there with his mom, and she goes, "What'd you do with my Daewoo?" And that brought a little laughter to me, because I could just imagine the fucking Daewoo on fire at a junkyard.
And it hit me a little deeper than it needed to, because I was like, you don't know the struggle? Shut up. But that's it. This one went a little longer than they typically do. I assume that you're confiscating the matching gun, right? Or not?
Yeah. He needs to give me his no shit fucking badge.
Yeah, no, but I'd never want him to touch
this money clip,
anything at all, ever. And then we put him on another mission somehow. I was so proud of the lieutenant by taking him off that first case, and then he somehow got himself back on it.
Do you remember Other Guys, which is going to be one I feel like we'll watch eventually? But remember when Kevin Costner Kevin Costner? It is not Kevin Costner. It's Spacey? Kevin.
Who?
Why am I?
What character? What did they do?
Captain.
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton, thank you.
That's all I'm like. If you give me hints,
Michael Keaton. I know. I don't know why I'm so bad. Like, I knew it was Batman, and like we talk about how he's the best Batman ever, and I don't understand.
Obviously, Kevin Spacey is where
Kevin Spacey. But remember when Michael Keaton gives him a wooden gun? Like, I need Jimmy Fallon to be sent back into the world with a wooden gun and nothing, like no badge, nothing.
Here's your rape whistle.
Yeah. Here's your rape whistle. Yes.
I'd also like to give a short shout out to Earl Schumann. He was the janitor when they went to go break into the
Vern.
Yeah, Vern. This man passed away March 24th, 2016. He was 100 years old.
Good for him.
Yeah, like acting till the end, because that was 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
12 years before he passed. I see that old man everywhere. But yeah, nope. He was in Taxi. He was in Mr. Deeds. He was in Dodgeball, and I just really like him. But when I saw this movie, I was like, I'm sure this man's dead. Like, not to be mean about it, but how would you be? You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody's got a clock that they punch, and he was already so old. Yeah, good old Vern. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is not a good movie. Is there any redeeming qualities? The soundtrack was on point, but it's as 90s 2000s as a soundtrack can be.
You know, way to give models a job, because it's hard out here for them guys.
Yeah, I hate being beautiful and
so I appreciate them doing that.
Putting clothes on, and
way to also just tarnish the good series that's apparently French.
I need to know so much about it, man. I need to know. I need to know. Because part of me wants to get to 4. A part of me wants
Pink Panther started out as a French property, and it didn't transfer well either. Wait, never mind. God, do you remember that?
I do.
Yo, it doesn't matter, right? Never mind. We're just done.
What?
The misrepresentation of driving in fucking New York. I'm so sick and tired of it. I have been to New York maybe 3 times in my life, but out of those 3 times, have you... I've never in a million years have I seen enough space to just fly out in front of everybody and look around people. Well, that too, but the whole we explain that away with garbage day bullshit. That car would be towed fucking immediately.
Anyway, fucking terrible. Comment how terrible
Turn
it
in
is.
Your badge, you sons of bitches.
Good for you, Queen Latifah, to fucking polish a turd, but it wasn't enough. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Friendship Supreme.
Watch Collision Course again to watch my brain.
Get the taste out of mouth. At least we got the car kicking scene.
At least Bat Marita went fucking torpedoing through a windshield for me.
Yeah, for all of us.
It's true for America.
Check out our other Friendship Supreme episodes. Are going to start posting every Wednesday. We posted a podcast and crime on Wednesday just to get a little energy going that way too. I'm McCleve.
I'm Michael.
Buckle up for safety, mother. In all 5 episodes of Podcast and Crime so far, Jimmy Fallon plays the worst cop we have seen. Even the amazing Queen Latifah couldn't save this movie as hard as she tried. When the smart cop isn't a cop, it's a bad start. We must ask this movie to turn in its badge and gun. Case closed.